Bean made a video talking about the sloth of Valve, which translation is laziness, which I think we can all very much agree. Valve is indeed lazy. And this is absolutely in reference to how Valve is handling their IPs, handling their games, and their complete lack of doing anything with any of them for years now, other than finding new and creative ways to separate the gamer from the money inside their wallet. Let's do it.
Hello everyone, Bean here. It's been a minute since the last video, been busy with stuff, but I'm coming back to talk about Valve. So a while ago, Emplemon made an interesting video about Nintendo, and to oversimplify...
This is a great video, by the way. This is a fantastic video. If you've not seen Emplemon's video, Sacrifices to the Church of Nintendo, this is required gamer viewing. Anyone that has ever once played a video game, you must see this video. You have to. Required viewing. Also, love that he uses Patrick as his avatar. Fucking adorable. Please keep doing that until Nickelodeon steps in and strikes you with a cease and desist. Then you'll have to find something else, but until then, keep going with it. It's beautiful.
The point of the video is that Nintendo is a company that simply does too much. They pump out great games, yes, but they also do too much to, quote-unquote, protect their brand from emulation, fan games, unofficial esports scenes, and pretty much anything else their fans want to do. I'm opening with that because
did y'all see, speaking of being protective of their IPs, did you see that company that was making the companion cube decorative holders for the new Steam boxes? Did y'all see that? They got a big old fat cease and desist from Valve going, you can't do that. And they are gone. Yeah, hold on. I have the Reddit post here. I'll pull it up. D-Brand. There it is, RIP Companion Cube. Long story short, they pushed forward with this, and then Valve went, nope. So naturally, that's on them. They should have reached out to Valve and went, hey, can we do this, right? They admitted that it was their fault. But it's a reminder that Valve is going to be equally as protective as their IPs as any other company. Do not forget.
I think of Valve as the anti-Nintendo, where Nintendo does much too much, Valve, since the 2010s anyway, does much too little. Instead of, active malevolence like Nintendo, it's gross negligence.
Yes.
They avoid work they see as tedious, despite how important it may be.
Lest I remind everyone, because this is also very important. In the early 2010s, as Valve was realizing that Steam was getting massive, and Steam was going to be like the next big platform. And as they started figuring out and hammering out all the details for their live service model, right? For their live service models. In 2013, they fired a huge portion of their employees because they did not need them anymore. They fired the artists, the writers, the creatives from Valve because they weren't about making games anymore. They were in the business of making money. So from 2013 onwards, guess what? Valve has done nothing but figured out the best way possible to maximally make efficient the flow of money from your wallet into theirs. And that's all they've been focusing on ever since. Valve is not the small little ooh-woo baby indie company they once were. They made little Half-Life. Oh, we love Half-Life so much. Oh, we love these games, man. Valve made such good games. And now they raked in $17 billion last year with 300 employees.
They let obvious problems fester like open wounds for months to years. They let players wait nearly 20 years for a sequel to a cliffhanger.
And you know what? It's never going to happen. I'm sorry, I'm blackpilling you now. There is never going to be Half-Life 3 because Valve doesn't need to do it.
And then they finish what they started at a snail's pace. Not to mention, they're still probably one of the largest beneficiaries of underage gambling.
It's like, gee, and how is Valve making their fucking millions? How is Valve making their billions? Digital slot machines. That's how they're making their big old money, other than Steam, of course, which they just have to sit there and take 30% of every sale. I'm not saying Steam is not a good platform, it's just that Valve has no competition because every other game company managed to shoot themselves in both kneecaps.
Probably one of the largest beneficiaries of underage gambling. They're kind of just content to sit there and rest on their sea of laurels, while their game franchises that continue to bring in millions or billions of dollars in revenue rot around them. Okay, so I want to be clear and say that this video is not like an objective, unbiased look at Valve or anything. This is a rant.
And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to call Valve out on their bullshit. There is no, like, you don't need to like have to like do your research, like insane epic amounts of research just to look at what Valve is doing and realize, oh shit, they're just doing nothing. They're letting a lot of shit go on for far longer than it should in terms of internal game problems, and they just don't do anything meaningful with their IPs anymore, while still raking in billions from all of them. The big three being Dota, Counter-Strike, and TF2, of course. And Lord knows when Deadlock comes out, oh, that's gonna be a big moneymaker. Oh, you know there's gonna be gambling in that game somehow. Don't know how they're gonna do it. Don't know what they're gonna sell you yet. Probably, player skins like Overwatch, but they are gonna make so much money on Deadlock. Make no mistake.
Video from a longtime fan, me, who has become disillusioned with the company after the treatment of my favorite games and franchises has been steadily deteriorating for years. It'll really just be me venting, if you will.
And that's okay.
If you're good with that, thank you. If not, you have been warned.
Good.
So Valve Corporation is best known for their storefront, Steam, which as of late 2025 had a 75% share of PC game distribution, earning the company $16 billion.
Listen, there it is. There it is right there, folks. Hold on. Play that back.
5%
Play that back.
Of PC game distribution, earning the company 16.
Show this to anyone. Show this to anyone that tries to run defense for Valve and pulls up they made Half-Life, or they're the small indie company. Show them this. They are the most profitable gaming company in the fucking history of humanity, and one of the most profitable companies in general per employee. 350 employees with $16.2 billion. And that's just from Steam. That's not even taking into account the multiple billions that Counter-Strike earns them, on top of what Dota and TF2 earns them as well, putting them over $17 billion. Valve has loads of money, plenty of resources to do so much, and they just don't.
$16 billion. And this is a company with just 300 to 400 employees. Steam is known for their pro-consumer practices, like a generous refund policy, discounts,
which is good.
Linux support, and just generally being a very good platform with a lot of quality of life features.
Steam is good. There is no denying this. Valve has got a great lockdown on digital marketplaces for video games. They've figured this shit out and they offer good services. There is no denying this, but that's not what this video is about. It's a complete non sequitur to go, well, Steam is good. Well, it's okay if they let their games rot and they just don't do nothing with them. It's okay because Steam is good. I got a sale, $5 game. Watch.
Requirement for games to disclose AI usage on their store page has been a lot of recent public support. You can criticize the 30% cut they take from specifically non-AAA developers, but generally speaking, Steam is a very good platform. They focus on the user experience. I'm acknowledging this now, not just to appease the Gabe and Cock riders, but because I really want to separate Valve, the software and hardware developer, from Valve, the game developer.
Except Valve is not a game developer anymore. This isn't like taking a shot at P-Bean, but it's like, it's just not the same company. It's not the same company with the same priorities. It's like, you can't like, there's not even anything to parse. Valve is just the money printer now. They don't care about making games anymore, other than like trying to find a replacement for the big three and through Deadlock, right?
The software and hardware developer, they're fine. They have a good PR record. Steam Deck's great, Steam's great, the Steam controller and headset, I'm sure, are fine. Valve, the game developer, however, are from a bygone era, with the chief exception of Deadlock, which I will talk about later. I do have something to say about it. For the most part, Valve is a studio that made great games decades ago. Games that people grew up with, especially people into PC gaming in the 2000s and early 2010s. I cannot overstate the quality of these games. The writing, design, technical advancements with their physics and AI, they were unrivaled for their time, and they still hold up today. It was the kind of quality that builds a loyal fan base and a substantial amount of goodwill among all video game enjoyers.
And they've done nothing but exploit that for years.
And I believe it is this goodwill, along with the positive PR from Steam, that lets Valve get away with negligence in their live service games.
Yep, but just you know what? You can call it for what it is. It's totally okay to call that exploitation of their fans, because they spent years building up that goodwill. They spent years building up that immaculate reputation, fully intentional, by the way. It's not like this happened by accident. It's not like this just fell in Valve's lap and go, wow, people really love us. Every single action they performed from like the mid-2000s onward was all to build up that reputation, build up that goodwill, and build up something that goes beyond the consumer and into a fan. Because think about this for a minute. What other game companies have fans like Valve does, other than Nintendo? Like, you'll find the occasional person saying, well, I'm like a Bethesda fan, but it's like, it's not nearly as stalwart and galvanized as your typical Valve fan, to the point where it's almost like a cult, right? Nintendo being the exception, because like Nintendo cultists are a different breed of people. I don't know what they smoke or what they consume, but Jesus Christ. And this is something else I mentioned in my commentary too, where like Valve is so deified and they're so, I don't know, they're so what's the word there? So anthropomorphized, right? Where like Valve is not viewed as a company that's it's viewed as like a human standing next to you. It's viewed as like someone else sharing the room with you, where they have even cute little terms for themselves as a giant mega corporation in terms of their net worth, like Valve time. You know, it's like, oh, well, things are taking longer than we thought. You know, it's Valve time. It's Valve time. It's like a term coined internally for, oh, well, shit's just taking too long. Oops, and then they kind of just, you know, leave it at that. But like, no other company has that. No other company can just like go, well, it's XYZ time, and their fans go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's okay, just take longer. It's totally fine. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. Like, no other company has that. Like, they're like Rockstar time doesn't exist for a lack of GTA 6. There is no other company has that. It's only Valve. And it was all deliberate. It was all intentional. Because now it's making them loads of money.
Intelligence we can see. I'm talking about Team Fortress 2 first, because TF2 is my home game, so I'm personally invested in it, but also because TF2 is the most prominent example. A live service game that is continually monetized, banking millions quarterly.
Hey, look, it's me! Look, it's my video! Oh my god, no way!
A live service game that is continually monetized, banking millions quarterly.
It's my video, dude. Oh man, I'm so glad I made that fucking video, because it opened up so many people's fucking eyes as to how much money this game still makes for Valve. 19 years later, this game is still making as much money as a smash hit indie title in their opening year. Every fucking year, it makes this much money. It is and that is still like a conservative estimate, because I didn't have all of the data from everything else being sold on the in-game store. They make way more than what that figure is. Probably not like that much more, but it's in the tens of millions. There's no denying this, okay? And it's insane to me that for years, so many people were like, well, TF2 doesn't earn them any money. It might make them like $2 million. It doesn't. First of all, it doesn't fucking matter how much money it earns them. They still monetize the game and expect people to spend money on it, and people do spend money on it, so the amount is irrelevant. But like, so many people were hand-waving away Valve's negligence of the game for years because, well, it doesn't earn them anything. It doesn't earn them any fucking money. Who fucking cares? It's like pennies. It's pennies. That's like the main thing I heard, especially during like fixed TF2. It's like, well, it's just pennies. It's nothing. That's not fucking nothing. That's tens of millions of goddamn dollars for nothing. For literally nothing. No work. They don't do shit. The community makes all the content. They make all the hats. They make all the maps. They make the unusual effects and the taunts and the skins. And Valve does no work on TF2. They copy and paste everything from fucking subcontractors and put it in the game, and that's it. 3 times a year, and that's tens of millions. So, literally any other game company on the planet, like when Valve first started doing this with Team Fortress 2, that's why we had the explosion of games like Overwatch and other live service titles, because Valve got their golden goose. That was TF2, and then they made an even bigger golden goose with Counter-Strike, and then Dota as well. Every other game company was just, and even now, is still endlessly throwing shit at the wall, trying to get their own Counter-Strike, trying to get their own TF2, where they just have to sit and go, yeah, I'm gonna rake in my billions by literally doing nothing. Because they just keep opening the fucking boxes! They keep buying the shit off the store! It doesn't matter! Every other company begs God, Buddha, Allah, inshallah, the game will earn billions. They beg every deity to have what Valve has, and no one even comes close. No one even comes close.
Despite receiving one of the most egregious examples of developer neglect I've ever seen. There is no shortage of videos explaining the genius of the design of TF2, so I won't reiterate. But yeah, it's a great game, and in 2011 it was made free to play as Valve realized they could get more people playing and earn more with a live service business model.
And to remind everyone about just how successful going with free-to-play was for Team Fortress 2, it wasn't the first free-to-play game. TF2, as soon as it went free-to-play, earned an order of magnitude more money. Revenue increased by a factor of 12 just by going free to play, and it went up since. It's just been going up. Maybe not like the same way it was back in 2013, but it's still earning tens of millions of fucking dollars just by going free to play. Like by 2010, as soon as Manconomy came out, that was done. TF2 was done when Manconomy came out. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like will raise an eyebrow because like, well, it wasn't that bad. It's not as bad as it is now. No. As soon as Manconomy came out, done. Game was cooked. Over.
Where a game is continually maintained and updated with new content and is profitable from continual monetization. Valve was really ahead of their time with this decision. The problem, though, is that we're now at the point
Valve was ahead of it in their time only because they were the first game to do it with something that wasn't an MMO. That's the kicker. They were the first company to like take the next big plunge and do the free-to-play live service model with microtransactions on something that wasn't an MMO. And it was massively successful. And then everyone started copying them.
Where we're still getting the continual monetization, Valve is still marketing the game, but we're barely getting quote-unquote continual maintenance. Weapons are still terribly balanced. So many bugs exist in the game, little things all over the place. Optimization. Over 3,000 days.
A game, TF2, there's no excuse. Like, there's no excuse for any of this, okay? There's absolutely zero excuse for how TF2 behaves in terms of its optimization. It's ridiculous that this game has such piss-poor performance that I shouldn't be getting 20 FPS by looking in a different direction. Like, that should have been addressed so much earlier. Like, you know, weapon balance and all that other shit aside, just basic functionality bullshit that Valve has never touched is ridiculous, other than the 64-bit update, but that was only done to keep the game's lifespan going on indefinitely as 32-bit systems are becoming increasingly, they are obsolete. That's the only reason why they did it. That's the only reason why they did that, is to keep the money train flowing.
Since a major update, the new player experience is still shit. Basically unfiltered community content, the casual matchmaking system that fucking sucks and has sucked for a decade.
Thank you.
Match update was in 2016, which introduced a matchmaking system. Even from the background clips, you should understand why this wasn't the right choice for TF2. Now, I can actually understand the mindset.
I don't need to repeat myself, but that was the fucking that was the turning point. That was the inflection point where we just fucking tanked to where we are now. Meet Your Match 10 years ago. Walk that shit back. It's never too late. My God, that was the fucking nuke that ended this game and left it in the indefinite status quo.
That went into Meet Your Match, and I'm not opposed to trying new things. And the previous system certainly could have been improved. But you have to be pragmatic when things don't work.
Mismatch painting, thank you.
And for a decade, we've put up with this fuck-ass broken matchmaking system.
You
can't just introduce something, and then it doesn't work, and then you just leave. And only 3 years.
Makes me so fucking mad. I'm happy, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm so happy that more YouTubers are bringing the hammer down on Valve. It's not just me anymore. More people are pointing the finger and going, hey, this isn't okay. I'm so happy that this is happening. Thank God. Thank God other people are just saying the obvious, where just this bit right here of just
introduce something and then it doesn't work and then you just leave. And
not enough people acknowledge that. Not enough people acknowledge this. Like, Valve just put Meet Your Match out there and said, well, that's good enough. Other than like a few band-aid fixes just so players could get into servers faster. Because like 99% of the adjustments to the matchmaking system post Meet Your Match was just so you can get into servers faster. Just so you could actually click on other people and shoot them. Not to improve the game experience, but just to put you into a fucking server. Because when when Meet Your Match launched, you couldn't get into a server. My God.
Only 3 years. 3 years after Meet Your Match, we see the beginning of the bot crisis.
No. Listen, PB, I gotta push back on that one. Bot lobbies were there. Week 1. Showed that in my video. Bot lobbies were in casual mode week 1 of Meet Your Match. Week 1. Week fucking 1. Bots were there. And then it just got progressively worse once more and more fucking psychopaths realized how exploitable the system was. And it just ramped up and ramped up. It's fucking insane. Literal days after Meet Your Match dropped. That's the number one thing you can point to as to what directly facilitated the bot crisis in Team Fortress 2. simply by nature of automatically placing groups of people into a server and ending up with situations like this, and the ease of just constantly re-queuing where a single map can be locked down by only queuing for one map. And like, and there's not that many players in Team Fortress 2, right? So all you need is like 20 bots, right? All you need are 20 bots queuing for one map, and you lock it down. And once they realized you could do that with single map queues and the ease of constantly re-queuing, just send that shit out. And it ruined the game for almost a decade.
It's kind of difficult to explain to someone that didn't play TF2 at the time just how bad this was and for how long it went on for. From around 2019 to 2023 or 24, the game was flooded with bots that would pick sniper and ruin the game. Thousands would join servers across the globe in groups so that you couldn't kick them, making the game nigh unplayable. And while the
literally
game was like
unplayable,
this,
you could not play Team Fortress 2 for a solid 6 years. Solid 6 years. Moreover, it wasn't just cheating. You had lag bots, you had crash bots, you had bots that would like remove your cosmetics. They were making, you couldn't even get into a server and the shit would just break. And Valve addressed all of that at a snail's pace. They didn't do shit. And I'll black pill you more. Hold on. We'll finish the TF2 section because I don't know if he touches on the black pill, but I'll give you a giga black pill dose.
Ruin, we continued getting seasonal, community-created cosmetic cases.
Is there an entire generation of TF2 players who wouldn't even have any idea how fucked up things are if not for Zesty? That's what I get out of all these videos. Mate, I mean, who else is talking about this? Other than, well, P-Bean now and Seriamon recently. And then you had Lister as well. Lister made his few matchmaking videos. But other than that, in recent times, no, not really anyone else.
Because money, of course. Say what you will about Blizzard or any other game studio on the planet, they wouldn't be caught fucking dead with this in one of their flagship titles that banks tens of millions annually for more than a week or a day. For several years, the game was like this. And to this day, you occasionally see these bots, notably around...
This shit makes me so mad. I know I've said this a million times, but this shit makes me so fucking mad. No other fucking game company would like the consumers and players for any other game company would have not let that shit slide. They would have been on their ass immediately, boycotting, bitching, and just demanding that the game company do something. If any other game not only let their servers get filled with cheating bots, but at the same time, continue to put more monetized content for people to buy and still bringing in tens of millions a year. The fact that they were still taking all of that money while doing nothing about the bots is the most pathetic, disgraceful thing I think I've seen any other game company do. Nothing else even comes close to how egregious of a transgression this is. And how fucked up it is. No other company comes even close to that level of greed, to that level of neglect. Valve just did not care. And I'll black pill you now. The only reason why bots were addressed in the first place, it wasn't save TF2. It wasn't fix TF2. It wasn't everyone banding together and demanding Valve do something. No. There was a fucking contractor, not even a Valve employee, a contractor that Valve hired on to work on Steam Deck stuff, to port games over so they could work on the Steam Deck amongst other projects. And he wasn't set to task by Valve to work on the bot problem. Valve didn't ask him to do this. No, the contractor asked Valve if he could address this problem, and Valve graciously gave him permission. And work on that started before Save TF2. There's evidence of this. I show this in my 4-hour-long Meet Your Match video. Valve was perfectly content on doing nothing. And they were doing nothing about the bots. And they would have just let that shit slide and keep raking in the money. But only because this one fucking contractor stepped up and said, hey, can I do something about this? One fucking guy, not even a Valve employee, literally saved this game. by like stepping in and going, hey, can I do something about this? And yes, I am 100% serious. This is true. This is real. Show this in my big meet your match video. That's why Valve dusted off their Twitter when Save TF2 happened and said, don't worry, guys, we're working on it, because they actually were. Well, one guy was. And maybe over the couple of years it took them to actually do something, you know, it probably had like 1 or 2 other people helping him out on that. It wouldn't have happened in the first place had that guy not asked Valve to work on that stuff, man. And that twists the knife. Blizzard wouldn't get away with it. Epic Games wouldn't get away with it. Activision wouldn't get away with it, because Valve made Half-Life, and they can get away with their games not being playable because they exploit the goodwill of their consumers that they built up over 20 years of making good games and offering a good platform, and they exploited that and would have continued exploiting it so long as it was going to continue making the money, and it still kept making the money. And what baffles me equally too is that the fault's on us too, man. The fault's on us too. It's insane how many people were still giving Valve money despite the game not being playable. For years, people were still opening cases. People were still using the community market. They were still buying fucking keys. They just kept fucking doing it. Kept doing it. That's fucking nuts to me. And people weren't saying shit. No one was saying jack shit for you. You had like the occasional YouTube video come out from like a somewhat larger figure. Like the one that sticks out in my mind is the one from Mr. Paladin, you know, addressing the elephant in the room. He was like the only larger voice that started saying shit. I think Saryamon made a couple of other videos as well. No one large. None of the biggest figures in the TF2 sphere were saying shit. Nothing. I mean, I didn't either, but I wasn't that big. Not yet anyway. No excuse for me. I understand that as well. But no one was saying shit. Nothing. Until 2022. The companies I mentioned also made good games, but not Half-Life or Steam, so they don't get that grace. Yeah, absolutely. Because they don't have anywhere near the amount of goodwill that Valve has with their fans. No one else is saying shit. It took us that long. It took that long. It took a fucking YouTuber movement. It took a YouTuber movement. And that's what I still find the most insane to me. It took a fucking YouTuber movement to get people to go, oh, yeah, this is actually bad. We should maybe do something about this. Yeah, instead of just queuing over and over and over and over again and getting put into a bot-filled lobby. What the fuck is wrong with the people that play this game?
Seasonal loot case drop. It is embarrassing that this was allowed to happen for as long as it did.
Embarrassing. Pathetic.
One minor thing they would do was spam voice and text chat, and Valve's response to that, blanket mute all free-to-play players. The cherry on top is that.
And the only reason why they did that? Summer of Love 2020, where if you were caught being racist, your optics aren't looking so hot no more. So that was the fastest we saw Valve react to anything the bots were doing, was fucking shut off free-to-plays. Just make them not talk anymore. You know, they're saying some slurs? Got some hard R's in there now? Oh shit, we gotta do something. We gotta shut that shit off. But actually addressing the problem? No, we'll punish the players instead.
Since the bots have been slowly phased out, not even erased, it took a petition of tens of thousands of players for Valve to.
And the worst part is that didn't do shit.
To allow free-to-play players to use voice commands.
Sorry, that was in reference to getting free-to-plays unmuted, yes. Listen, there's no denying this either. The only reason why they unmuted free-to-plays is because suddenly there was a lot of noise around unmuting free-to-plays and they reacted to it. Also because it was easy. It was like a toggle they had to do, right? As a Fortnite fan in the community, Epic Games can't breathe without getting called out and players complaining, yet here's Valve being an absent dad. And the story continues because we have Counter-Strike and Left 4 Dead to talk about next. Oh, Left 4 Dead fans? You guys had it way worse.
Something I'm sure they just forgot they changed and took less than half an hour. Fantastic. Left 4 Dead is a great series that I feel is owed more credit than it's given for its contributions to the design of the horde shooter genre.
Yep.
Most people have played
fucking
a
Left 4
game
Dead.
in the series.
Some of the best games ever made. Left 4 Dead 2, man.
Significant amount of people still do. The Left 4 Dead 2 community, unlike the zombies in the game, is quite alive, I assure you, and they also have been subjected to gross negligence. And they aren't even expecting much. This isn't a live service game like TF2. They just want to play the game they paid for. But alas, Valve, from early 2024 to 2025, you literally could not play the game you paid 13 loonies for on the official servers.
Recently, there's been a ton of DDoS attacks on every official Valve server for Left 4 Dead.
Valve just let the DDoS attacks happen. They weren't doing shit for a year. You just could not play Left 4 Dead 2. Fucking insane. And like they still, I think it's still happening to like a much smaller extent. Like there's still people trying to fuck with official servers even now. But like that was all that, like this too. Fucking pathetic. Fucking pathetic.
Which means
why were they DDoSing? Mental illness. Whenever you come across someone hosting bots or DDoSing, there is no valiant or logical reason for doing this. These people are genuinely mentally ill. Having seen how they live and how they speak and how they write, view them as nothing more than an animal. View them as nothing more than a mongrel with mange roaming the desert looking for something to sink its teeth into because they have no brain. They're fucking animals, and they should be disregarded as such. Don't like try to get it in your mind that there's some kind of real reasoning behind how they act. They're fucking amoebas reacting to stimuli, and they should be removed off the face of the earth with scalding fire. Anything less than that is too good for them.
it's unplayable. Yep, unplayable.
I said 2024 to 2025, but like the TF2 bot crisis, DDoSing still happens. This is not okay, and this slow of a response to something as drastic as this is not okay. A single fucking individual should not be able to completely shut down a Valve game. How are you okay with this? How can you ignore this? What the fuck is this shit?
How? When was the last time you bought a game on Steam? When was the last time you bought something in TF2? When was the last time you bought something in Counter-Strike? How can they ignore it? People keep giving them money. Do nothing, win. Do nothing, win. It's a meme. Now it sucks. Do nothing, win. Because people keep giving them fucking money. And Valve only reacts to money. Valve only responds to their bottom line being hurt or their image being besmirched and being smeared. Those are the only two things they react to, and history shows us this. Lest I remind everyone one more time, do you remember the 100% unusual unbox glitch? Y'all remember that shit that happened in 2019, I believe? You know, in the midst of the bot crisis, these two things were happening simultaneously. Guess how fast they fixed that shit? 12 hours. Less than 12 hours, they fixed that shit. Because, the moneymakers are at stake. The item servers are in jeopardy. They stepped in and they fixed that shit immediately. But game servers? Being able to actually play Team Fortress 2? Nah. Let that shit rot for 3 more years until someone asks us to work on it. That right there alone should show where Valve's priorities are. Not the game servers, but the item servers. The things that are making them money. So long as those are chugging along just fine and people keep gambling and opening those boxes, they have nothing to worry about internally because from inside, right? They just see the money coming in. They don't give a shit. They're not notified that something is wrong until the money train and the money flow starts going down. Then they go, what's wrong? Oh shit, people aren't spending money on our game? I wonder why that is.
Counter-Strike is funny because it has had such a historically large problem with cheaters that third-party platforms like Faceit or ESEA are considered the de facto default way to play the game for many players. The supposed grand update to Counter-Strike 2 did nothing to address the cheater problem, and Premier is miserable, but you know, every FPS community complains about cheaters, but we also get to complain about the miserable launch of Counter-Strike 2.
Oh, yes, baby. Hey, CS2 fans, how are you enjoying that unfinished port?
Releases of CS, Counter-Strike Global Offensive was replaced by Counter-Strike 2. Counter-Strike 2 is very pretty and fucking sucks. Game-breaking exploits and bugs, performance and stability issues. Valve is just...
And in the opening week, how much money did Valve make? How much did the market cap for the Counter-Strike skin economy go up in the opening week? Despite the dysfunctionality, despite the bugs, despite it being an unfinished port, it went up by like over $1 billion. They increased the value of this game by $1 billion by moving over to CS2. Skin prices exploded. Case openings like quintupled. That's all the content you see. Anyone that's looking for Counter-Strike content, it's not about the game. It's about the gambling. It's all dopamine maxing content now. Trade ups, case openings, all that shit. That's all CS2 content is. Not much else. And yes, all of it was planned. All of it was planned. Pushing that game into CS2 has made Valve so much money, despite the actual game experience being objectively worse. Not just because it's still missing content that CSGO had, but also didn't do anything about the cheaters, other gameplay problems and bugs. It's like, come on now. But thing is, Valve doesn't need to do shit other than give more toys for people to play with. Or more means to gamble, because what has Valve been doing? We'll let the video play. Maybe he mentions this.
Getting around to adding back content that was removed.
Yes.
They are just getting around to fixing problems that were there on launch. And because it was officially an update, the old CSGO is effectively lost, replaced with a very computationally heavy game with performance issues. Once again, they half-assed something.
That's one thing about CSGO. You could juice fucking frames out of that game. That shit, you could get like 2,000 frames on a modern rig running CSGO. You did not have to worry about performance issues on that game. CS2, Source 2 is not... Source 2 is not nearly as good as Source 1. Sorry, have to say it.
And now are taking years to fix it. And while it may not have cheating bots... Oops, I was wrong when writing the script. There actually are cheating bots. Thank you, Valve.
Bot farms.
It does have...
Yep, farms upon farms of bots farming case drops. And like Valve kind of steps in and manually bans all of these things, but because you can make an infinite number of accounts because the game is free to play, guess what? They just make more and go right back to it. There's One right there. But this is showing the botting.
Quote unquote playing the game to farm in-game items that can be sold on third-party marketplaces for real-world money. Other Valve games have these problems too, but with so many
it's my video again, oh my god!
more pressing problems, it's difficult to care. You can just add it to the list of things where if it was in any other game, people would actively protest it.
Yes.
And I would also be remiss
if this shit was happening in any other game, people would be lighting a fire under those developers' asses.
I didn't at least mention the fact that this digital economy in Valve's games is founded on gambling, including underage gambling. And I'm not referring to the questionably legal skin gambling sites that Valve allows to stay up, so it looks like they're combating gambling. I mean, like the...
Yeah, it's so funny because Valve hilariously stepped in very briefly and like tried to make an example out of that, like out of one or a small handful of gambling sites, and now they just let that shit ride. They just let that shit ride. They don't do anything. They don't cease and desist sites anymore. They don't tell them to stop. They just let that shit go. You know why? Because they profit from it. They profit from that shit. Because where do you get your chips? You get your chips from the house, and Valve's the house, and they make loads of money indirectly from these third-party gambling sites. So it's in their best interest to keep them going until shit gets clamped down, which it seems to be moving in that direction more so as more countries are banning loot boxes and Valve's having to find new and creative ways to keep gambling inside of their games, like the terminal system they're using in Counter-Strike now. But gambling's not going away anytime soon because it just makes too much money.
Case openings and trade-ups in-game. I am so fucking tired of this clown show we put on where we all pretend like this isn't obviously gambling. So everyone knows gambling is bad. It is not valuable for me to sit here and be all, oh, gambling is bad, it's addictive, and you won't win, and you shouldn't do it. I can accept that the original intent was...
How, in your opinion, loot boxes are different from Pokemon cards? Not that different. Like, these things are one and the same. You're playing a random chance to get into something valuable. The only difference between a Pokemon card and a CSGO skin is that you actually have the physical good in your hands, and you don't have to worry about the company just shutting off the item servers and that item being taken away from you. That's the big difference. Because people forget, you don't actually own all the shit in your item inventories. Your TF2 hats, your Counter-Strike skins, you don't own these things. Valve is giving you a license to access these things through their services, and at any given time, they can just take that away from you. At any given time, they can just change how these things behave fundamentally, which is what they've been doing heavily with Counter-Strike, and because it seems like he's not going to mention these things, what has Valve been doing with Counter-Strike over the past few years, right? They've only been finding ways to redirect more traffic onto their own community marketplace by doing things like knife trade-ups. Oh shit, the rare special items have inflated to insane values. We gotta knock down the price of those things by increasing the volume. Best way to do that? Take all the red skins no one wants, put those into a trade-up, boom. Prices plummet. So many of those rare items are now below the Steam wallet cap and can be sold on the marketplace, so Valve gets their cut. And then also you have the explosion of red skins, right? You have the explosion of the red skins that trade up to the knives, right? Those all increased in value, but are all still below the market cap. Valve made loads of money. Shitloads of money by doing that. Then they have the souvenir trade-ups. Another way to gamble for the really rare exclusive items that are like exclusive to map collections, because those are also insanely inflated. Guess what? People are printing thousands more of them because all of the useless souvenir skins can now be ground up into the rare valuable items, making more of them, bringing down their value, and making them under the Steam wallet cap so they can be sold on the community market, and therefore Valve can take their cut. That's all they've been doing with Counter-Strike over the past few years, is finding a way to redirect more money off of third-party marketplaces back onto their own marketplace, so they get their fee. Do people not see this?
Simply to create a system of random chance. In fact, looking at TF2's archaic in-game store, you can still see how Valve expected the price of some of these items to be. However, in the year of our Lord...
And so many people still buy them too. So how many of you in chat bought something from the Manco store for full price? How many of you bought that $5 hat? How many of you bought that $3 weapon? How many of you actually did that? Quite a few of you. Think about how many individual unique players TF2 has had that have bought at least one thing off the Manco store. The free-to-play game pays for itself just by doing that to you. And oh, it gets better. Oh, it gets better. Valve engages in all of the same anti-consumer practices that pretty much every other like gacha game or other like a live service free-to-play game engages in Team Fortress 2. They have the free-to-play account, and then they have the premium account, where if you have the free-to-play account, yeah, sure, you can play the game, but you have these other inconveniences that will inevitably get in your way to force you to spend money on it. Do you want one of each of all the functional unique unlocks in Team Fortress 2? Sorry, you're not given enough backpack space. And if you manage to acquire all of those things before getting your free backpack expander inside the Christmas stocking, guess what? You have to buy something, otherwise you can't store things anymore. You want to trade to get things you don't own? Sorry, you can't do that either until you buy a premium account. Also, free-to-plays are still muted with a fresh account, so if you want to actually have access to in-game voice chat and text chat, you have to pay for something. So Valve does what every other game company does. They find ways to inconvenience you. Looking at you, fucking Bethesda. Nope, Valve did not fully remove... So Valve allowed for free-to-plays to use in-game voice commands, like calling for a medic, you know, and all the other voice command lists, but voice chat and text chat, free-to-play accounts still can't access those things. Not right away anyways.
2026, regardless of any mental gymnastics, this is still gambling. Anyway, sorry, that's kind of a tangent that's unrelated to the thesis of the video that Valve is a lazy piece of shit. It's just another thing to add to that list I mentioned. Anyway, let's move on to something that is related to the fact that Valve is lazy. I see a lot of other game studios get justifiably grilled by their fan bases for taking too long to release new games in an IP. It is, for lack of a better word, trendy to shit on Bethesda or Rockstar or...
Okay, yeah, so going back to Bethesda, because someone asked in chat, Fallout 76 does so many things to inconvenience you, so you pay for the premium version of the game. You know, you have like the scrap boxes, and you have access to all the other shit they throw at you. They also find ways to inconvenience you. It's why I called out Bethesda for doing that shit. It's fucking evil. Fuck you, just give me the full game. Fuck off, I already paid the money. Don't inconvenience me more for your shitty live service garbage. Fuck.
Or whatever for the time they've taken, and that's fair. But if we're
speaking of you not owning digital products, did you see that Sony is deleting the digital movies and TV shows people bought off the PS Store? Oh, so funny! You will own nothing and be happy! Isn't it wonderful? We live in a dystopia. Preserve your media, because who knows when it's going to get taken away from you. You buy something on a streaming service, you don't actually own it. Isn't it wonderful? It's just getting worse. It is. You don't own any of your games on Steam, by the way. You are paying for a license to access those games. You don't actually own them. If you don't have an internet connection, you can't even play many of your games these days. Don't get rid of your DVD player.
Playing that game, you should meet Valve. Where is Half-Life 3 is such a legendary meme at this point, it's easy to forget we're actually still waiting for it. It's funny to make fun of the fact that Valve can't count to 3 and can't release a new game in any of their IPs. I especially thought it was funny when they renamed Counter-Strike Global Offensive to Counter-Strike 2, despite it not at all being the second entry in the series.
Yep.
It's almost like an acknowledgement that a game being branded as 2 means it's the final form and the last in the series. Team Fortress 2, Dota 2, Left 4 Dead 2, Counter-Strike 2.
Once we hit 2,
Portal 2. And
once we hit 2, that's it. You get no more. There will never be a 3. Gee, when's Deadlock 2 gonna come out?
Life 2. And before you say, oh, but
it's a joke, by the way.
Desk job. But Patrick, what about Half-Life Alex? Patrick, you're forgetting.
Half-Life Alex, I don't care what people say. Glorified tech demo to sell you VR headsets. I don't care. I don't care about the quality of the game. I don't care about how good it was. Glorified tech demo just so you can buy VR headsets. It is. Sorry. Don't care. Get hissy and pissy at me. But that game was made to sell you VR headsets.
Fucking artifact. These don't count. Shut up, they don't count. I don't want to hear it. This is a tech demo. This is a joke. The only game I would almost count is Alex, except I don't have a VR headset. I have never been able to play it still, so shut up. Half-Life 2.
Yeah, that too. The level of entry into playing Alex, you have to buy an entirely different piece of hardware. There are cheaper headsets, but it's not just buy it on your PC and play. Nope, you got to have a headset too. I think people like cracked the game so you can play it without a VR headset. I'm sure someone's done that. But I don't know how good the experience is if you have to go through all these hoops just to play it without a VR headset. It kind of sounds miserable. Yes, there's a mod. Okay, there's at least a mod, but you still have to mod the game in order to be able to play it without a headset.
Episode 2 was released in 2007, the same as TF2, and it left us on a cliffhanger. And Valve just said, oh fuck man, that took so much out of us, we'll finish the story eventually. And for
I cannot wait for I have such a good video. I have such a good video on the back burner. Oh, I cannot wait for this shit to be done. It's gonna take a while. I got another little nuke cooking on the back burner here that kind of touches on these things, and I'm very excited to share this with you, but I have to treat this with care. I have to treat this with as much time as it's going to take, so be patient with me. Be patient. It's gonna be a good video.
20 years, we've had our fucking balls tickled at every turn. Tune into Tyler McVicker to see the latest fucking Half-Life news. Unreal. What a fucking joke. Okay, so why? Why is Valve so insultingly lazy? Why are their games subjected to such gross neglect, despite being a company that literally makes $30 to $50 million?
You've answered your own question.
And how does that tie into Deadlock? Because I haven't forgotten.
You have answered your own question, sir.
About it. Okay, so Valve is a private company that can do whatever they want, and they can structure it however they want. And Valve is known for having a managerless structure.
Not true, by the way. That's not true. Let's go back to that. So this is a myth. This is 100% a myth. Go back. Okay, so this is bullshit. So strongly recommend you go here. Hold on, let me pull this link up. Yeah, so this notion that Valve has this flat internal structure is complete bullshit, okay? So here is a thread from Reddit from a former Valve employee back when he was working at the company in like the early 2010s, somewhere around there roughly, that basically completely debunks that Valve has this flat structure, that people are free to work on whatever they want, people can just pick and choose. No, they don't. Valve, just like every other company, has the internal corporate arm overseeing everything that's being worked on. And so if you're working on something that corporate views as unfavorable, then you're not going to get your annual bonus this year, or you're not going to be viewed as a valuable asset in the company anymore, so they're going to fire you and replace you with someone else that's going to do the work that they want them to work on. So literally no difference. Play video. No, this is important. Valve does not have this flat structure internally. And also, let's remind everyone too, this comment right here, we don't have a manager. So remember that Valve company handbook that leaked? Turns out, if you read that thread of tweets, that was intentional. This is something that game companies do, is they intentionally leak internal workings and company handbooks and things like this to give their consumers and their competitors a false idea of how they actually behave internally. So that Valve company handbook was manufactured so you view Valve in the way that they want you to view them. Everything we think about Valve was manufactured so we view them as this enigmatic, wonderful company. It's not real. It's not real.
The mythos around Valve is that it's a fairyland where every employee is free to do whatever they want, and they want to keep that perception up. Remember,
there's the handbook right there.
Their employee handbook public, and from everything I can tell,
there it is. Yes, he acknowledges this. Yes, he calls it out. It's bullshit. Thank God more people are saying this. It's not just me. Fuck. It's right there on the fucking internet. It's right there. It's a Google search away. Shit. Thank you, P-Bean, for putting this in your video. Thank God more people need to see this shit.
Valve does indeed value personal agency and initiative more than other companies. They have less specific oversight, but a much more prominent expectation to do something flashy, interesting, and new. And that...
Which is what every other tech and gaming company does. If you're not working on the next big thing that improves their company value or is going to bring in the money, you are viewed as less valuable internally and they will let you go. Or you don't get your bonus, or you get a pay cut, or you face internal ridicule because of company politics bullshit. It's the same as every other fucking company. They say you have the agency, but you don't actually have it there.
Further devalues maintenance work, which is already something that most people don't really want to do. No one wants to go in and tinker with a 20-year-old game.
And yet, what does every other game company do? Because if they don't, their consumers get upset. The notorious treadmill work. Oh, the evil, enigmatic treadmill work. Oh, we don't want to do that. Oh, it's hard. We want to do it. Valve is allergic to treadmill work. They love automation. Yeah, that's every fucking job on the planet, most of them anyway. Treadmill work, having to do the same thing all the fucking time. That's just work. That's most jobs.
For a fan base that's pissed off. And so now we look at that company structure and we can't deny their success, but can we also acknowledge that there's just going to be some shit people don't want?
Not only is Half-Life Alyx a fancy tech demo for the VR headset, it also retcons the ending of Half-Life 2 Episode 2 because Valve is creatively bankrupt in storytelling. Yes, they are. They fired all of their writers in 2013. So why is it really any surprise they would do that? Nope.
Want to do, but it still has to be done. And now we get to Deadlock. Deadlock is a fine game, a good game, even I'm told by people that actually play it because I don't can't get into it for the life of me. Valve has good developers and good game designers, so that's not really a shock to me. To be honest, I don't really have an opinion on the game itself. However, the simple fact that a new multiplayer MOBA hero shooter is being actively developed, making great progress, while other Valve titles and even IPs, which is something that no one even bothers to criticize Valve for anymore, are completely neglected, is wrong. It is so frustrating to me because you can make Deadlock, that's great, people love it, but if you put in the barest possible effort to make sure your legacy games with fairly large communities within the gaming ecosystem and respectable reputations are kept in a fair condition, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It is maddening.
Yes.
So Valve,
and that's just true. And what people are gonna say, and you're gonna see comments like this in the comment section of this video. I have to act this out, you know. You're gonna see this in the comment section of the video. It's like, what's? Well, I'll have you know, the game is old. Counter-Strike's old IP. TF2 is an old game. You can't expect them to work on it anymore. Is it really just Valve does so much? Valve does so much for us. They have Steam, they have sales, everything's so good. Valve treats us so well. And you know, I can't believe you would expect them to actually work on something they make money on. How dare you? Oh, you're so entitled. TF2 is so old, you can't expect them to do that anymore. Counter-Strike's fine, there's nothing wrong. They deserve it, they make so much money, they do such good work, they deserve all this money. You're gonna see that. You're going to see a lot of it. So long as the company is offering the game as live, as playable, and monetized. Moreover, bringing in millions, tens of millions, or billions of dollars a year, the amount does not matter. They should be actively curating and treating that game and giving it what it needs, and not leaving it to rot like Valve does with all of their IPs. Every other company, every other consumer demands that from other game companies. Not Valve, though, because they exploit the goodwill of their consumers.
Has talked before about what they call treadmill work that's continuous and unrewarding.
There it is.
Anti-cheat. Anti-cheat seems like miserable work. I can totally understand not wanting to sign up for the treadmill, but someone's
I think you had too many black pills, Unk. People need to hear this. The tides need to turn. Valve hate is warranted at this stage.
Or not, actually. Valve showed when push comes to shove, they can just not. They just won't do it. Because there's no one in the company willing to do it. And if there's no one willing to do something, it won't get done because there's no structure. Now, I don't know a whole lot about running a business. I am but a humble Wumbo. But I have come up with a novel business strategy for when you have something that no one wants to do, but it's got to get done anyway. You hire someone with money, and then you pay them to do it.
Wow, this guy cracked the fucking code! Right there! Who knew it was so simple? Paying people? Hold on. We have to like break that down. Let me just hold on. This is very important. Hold on. This is great. This is fucking groundbreaking. Okay. This is the craziest shit I've heard since sliced bread. Okay. Hold on. We have to make a diagram for this shit. This might even be too complex for Valve. So let's simplify it for them. Okay. So here's your kiki, right? Here's your fucking kiki. Here's like your ooh, ow, ooh, spiky, ooh, this hurts. I don't want to have to do this. We have to address the big kiki. We want to turn the kiki into a booba. We want to go from here to here. Oh, nice, smooth little booba. You know, we want to go from here to here. But we don't know how. There's a list of tasks. There's a list of tasks that need to be completed on a regular basis in order to go from the ooh, ow, pointy, ooh, itchy, ooh, hurtful thing to like, ooh, the nice, smooth things are working well. We have to go from point A. Here, we'll do labels. Valve likes their labels. We have point A and we have point B. How do we go from point A over to point B with the set of tasks that we have to complete in order to go from here to here? And they must be maintained periodically. But we don't want to do them. We don't want to have to do these tasks. It's boring. It's so boring. You know, it's like, what, you know what? Here, I have a great idea. If no one inside your company wants to do these things, find someone who will. And if you can't find anyone who will do it for free, because people have already done this shit for free for all their games, and they don't put that shit in, they just leave it out there. Crazy idea. Pay them for it. We cracked the fucking code. Hello? My mic disconnected. We figured it out. We found out how Valve could solve all of their games' problems. We found it out. We figured this shit out. They just have to pay people to do it. What a novel fucking concept. Holy shit. Someone tell the president. We found the solution to all the world's problems. Shit we don't want to do, pay someone else to do it. Hey, Valve. Listen. Valve, for the low price of $375,000, I too can give you the absolute masterclass on how to complete tasks you don't want to complete, utilizing and tapping into a mere minor fraction of that $17 billion of revenue that you made last year. I will unlock all these doors, give you all these secrets to maximize. You would make even more money. No one wants to acknowledge this. You would make even more money if you did this work. You would make so much more money if you just acknowledged the bare minimum problems with all of these fucking games. You would make more money and build even more goodwill. Galvanize that shit even more. And you fucking don't do it. It's so easy. It's so easy. And they just don't do it because they don't have to, because people keep opening the boxes and buying the games. As simple as that.
And clap at my economic genius. I don't care who does it. A Valve
truly economic genius by P-Bean right here. Oh my god. True economic genius.
The community, me, you, goddamn Gabe Newell himself. Someone has to get on.
Only way this will stop is if I win by total knockout against Robin Walker in a boxing ring. I'll do it in my favorite game for my people, Prima Victoria. You'll have a good chance. Robin Walker's 5'6".
The treadmill.
5'7". He's a little guy.
Games are maintained.
When like a gust of wind can push the poor bastard over.
struggling game studio or something. These aren't loss-leading games for Steam. Look at reality for what it is. Valve is a hedonistic company, inherently lacking discipline by design. And while the benefits of that are clear, a company of Valve's size should easily be capable of dealing with undesirable work. They should easily have teams of people for each designated game that nets them millions to billions of dollars a year. One last note is about Valve's policy on transparency. Valve does not like to be transparent with their fans because they don't like making promises they can keep. And also, they're just lazy. While more transparency would be better for keeping
any level of fucking communication. Even something as simple as, hey, we're still working on the MVM update. Just like a one sentence blog post, like, hey, we're still here. Work is ongoing. We didn't forget. That would just that alone would generate like 100,000 key sales. Like, oh my God, there's a blog post. Like that would generate a wave of videos for a week in the TF2 sphere if they just did that. Get out of here. Enough of that silly
expectations
shit.
Tempered. I know it's difficult to work when everyone knows what you're up to, so fair enough. What is not fair enough is complete radio silence. Remember the MVM update? What happened? Is it still coming? I don't know.
I don't know. We don't fucking know.
But a little communication at least. Anyway,
we have no idea.
If you in any way contact Valve, whether you email them as I have before, or you
say what you will, the Huntsman kills are insane. I've not acknowledged that, but the guy knows he knows his way around a bow and arrow. I will say that
developer on Reddit or Steam communities or wherever, please be cordial while demanding better. Valve has a myriad of positives going for them. Steam is of course great, but also just the fact that they released such great games. Their stands
no. Listen, P-Bean. I know you're trying to end off on a positive note here, but you can't. I feel like putting this at the end is kind of undoing everything you just built up upon in this video. It's like, well, Valve does have good things. There's Steam, and they made good games 20 years ago. Like, I don't know. You already acknowledged that in the first half of the video, but none of that matters when they're doing nothing for their games, man. All of Valve HQ found dead after realizing breathing uphill is work in 2035.
On copyright, piracy, modding, it's all great, but that doesn't exempt them from criticism.
It's true. P-Bean, buddy, pal, you made a good video. P-Bean, old buddy, old pal, you've made yet another banger of a video. Hallelujah. Thank you so much for making videos like this, man. Thank you. Oh, thank God, again, other people are making videos calling out Valve on their bullshit, because it is ridiculous how long this shit goes on for and how little Valve does to maintain their games. Oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to have to fucking, listen, it was exhausting. It was being the loudest voice in the room talking about this shit. Thank God other people are. W video indeed. I will post the link right now so you buckaroos, fuckaroos, chuds and chudettes can go give the video a like and give it a boost in the algorithm, please. It deserves as many views as it can get, because videos like this are important. Videos like this are immensely important because it's holding Valve responsible for their own bullshit. Never let it escape. Never forget that Valve has been horrifically neglectful for their IPs. Never forget that shit, ever. Call them out, hold them responsible, and if you genuinely want things to change, it doesn't stop at voicing your concerns. Stop spending the money. Money is the only thing they listen to, or their reputation being tarnished. But Valve is so big and their fans are such stalwart defenders that no voice is going to be loud enough to besmirch their name enough to them to actually, clean up their act. So the number one thing that's going to get their attention is stop spending the fucking money. Simple as that. Send this video to Asmongold. I mean, that'd be great, but hopefully this comes across his desk. Does this also extend to Steam? Honestly, yeah, fuck it. It may not need to extend to Steam, but doing it with Steam as well would be ideal, because if there's a discernible amount of instability with their games, because their game, especially Counter-Strike, is a massive cash cow. And as soon as there's any signs of instability there, Valve's going to step in and do something, because they want that money train continuing to flow, because Counter-Strike alone generates $2 billion a year, right? And so if there's a little bit of a shake-up there, it's oh shit, then their other games start crumbling and money stops flowing, and that's going to look really bad on their part. Plus those internal economies can crash. So definitely stop spending money in their games.